A postal worker who had alleged that the postmaster in Erie, Pennsylvania was backdating ballots in order to commit election fraud. He has now completely recanted his story. His name is Richard Hopkins. His claim that a postmaster in Erie, Pennsylvania instructed postal workers to backdate ballots mailed after Election Day was cited, by the way, by senators like Lindsey Graham in a letter to the Justice Department calling for a federal investigation. Well, investigations have begun, including an investigation by the House Oversight Committee, which has tweeted details about this. They say that the whistleblower completely recanted his allegations of superior tampering with mail-in ballots. It's also notable that Richard Hopkins, this USPS employee, had signed a sworn affidavit with allegations of ballot tampering and fraud, and he went public through, maybe Tulsi Gabbard should hear this, Project Veritas. That was the platform he used in order to spread this disgusting lie about the postmaster in Erie, Pennsylvania. Again, he has completely recanted the story. So it's just another conspiracy theory allegation that's been completely debunked, something that's been put out there by the right wing in their efforts to steal this election. And no one should ever, in any way, shape, or form, repeat any of the garbage coming out of Project Veritas.
So, the Republicans complained about fraud, how there was going to be fraud. Well, signing an affidavit with lies is fraud.
That's fraud.
Yeah, and so this Republican should go to jail. I don't think there's nobody would dispute that, right? I mean, the guy committed fraud and lied about something so monumentally important, and potentially caused a huge problem in our government, and had a huge chunk of the Republican voters believing him. In fact, I bet you that a majority of them still believe this lie, even though he's now recanted it. So is there going to be consequences? He better go to prison for a long, long time. If you're going to lie about our government, about democracy, and try to subvert democracy and put in your dictator instead of the person who actually won the election, you should go to prison. And of course, Project Veritas, super happy to help him along with his lies. Did they double check? Did they verify? Oh, they didn't verify. What a coincidence. Yet another time they didn't verify. Huh, golly gee, I guess people should quote them all the time as if they're a real news source, right?
It's Project Veritas. They do not verify. But I mean, we know what Project Veritas does. I mean, they allege that there was election fraud happening in Minnesota. That story was debunked, and this particular so-called whistleblower is being cited by the Trump campaign in a lawsuit that they filed against Pennsylvania, alleging voter fraud. And so, just like the many other lawsuits that the Trump campaign had thrown out because federal judges know that it's complete and utter nonsense because they have not provided any evidence of widespread voter fraud, this lawsuit is likely to be thrown out as well.
All right, so now you got nothing on top of nothing, Republicans. Every single court case that Trump brought has been laughed out of court, where conservative justices or judges had to remind Trump's lawyers, in a court of law, you actually have to have evidence. Do you have any evidence? No, you don't have any evidence. Get out, get out, get out. Because in reality, if you actually care about being a conservative, they're an embarrassment to conservatives. So the conservative judges look at it and go, you came into my court with no evidence at all? And now they're like, no, it's okay, we got this guy in Nevada. Oh my God, the thing oh wow, that's the real case. 1 or 2 votes might have been different. You lost Nevada by over 20,000 votes. But this one guy, I'll tell you, and now it turns out he's a total and utter liar. So has everyone, both in the Republican Party, elected officials, all the way up to Donald Trump, but also in social media, have all the Republicans who quoted him now retracted and said, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, I was wrong. Of course not, because they're liars by nature. They like lying, they enjoy it. And so that's why I guarantee you that not one Republican who believed there was fraud was moved by the fact that the guy claiming fraud says I was lying. It's not remotely true. Not one of them is moved by it.
And by the way, as you can typically expect with these types of people, it's not just that they're trying to undermine our democratic process. There's always a grift attached to what they're doing as well. And so as the Washington Post reports, a GoFundMe page created under Hopkins's name
of course,
had raised more than $136,000 by Tuesday evening, with donors praising him as a patriot and whistleblower. In fact, in that donation page, he wrote the following: "Your donations are gonna help me in the case I am wrongfully terminated from my job or I am forced into resigning due to ostracization by my coworkers. It will help me get a new start in a place I feel safe and help me with my child support until I'm able to get settled and get a new job." So I'm curious where that money's gonna go. But for all the Republicans who fall for these scams, when are you guys gonna wake up and realize that these people don't respect you, they don't respect our democracy, they don't stand for anything other than themselves and their own financial interests? When are they gonna wake up to that? Unless they do, they're just gonna keep getting robbed over and over again.
Rubes. The Republican politicians, Trump primary among them, view their own voters as suckers and losers. So this guy just got in on the act. He's like, why is Trump the only one allowed to rob everyone blind? Why don't I rob Republican voters blind? They're idiots. Well, he was right. He got $136,000. Now he's recanted. Guaranteed Democrats are so soft, he'll probably have almost no consequences. The prosecutor, oh my God, you don't want to upset Republicans. And so, and he'll probably keep the money. Good. If you sent money to him thinking, oh my God, he's uncovered this big fraud that Trump told me about, you had it coming. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.